God's chosen ones, only 1 in a million, carry this mysterious mark on their left hand. God's chosen ones, tonight, this is not a coincidence. Heaven has just broken its silence to speak about you. Pause for a moment. Don't scroll. There's a reason you're seeing this video right now. As the clock strikes midnight and the wind softly stirs the curtain, your soul begins to feel something awakening, a calling from a depth your mind can't explain. Look down at your left hand. That faint line, that small scar you once thought was random. It was never random. It's a mark from heaven, a sacred signature written into your flesh before you were even born. If your heart is beating faster, if you feel chills running through you, that's not emotion. That's recognition, your spirit remembering who you are. Because yes, you might be 1 in a million. Tonight, your room sits in dim light. A small lamp casts a soft golden glow, trembling across your shaking hands. Outside, the wind slips through the cracks, carrying a chill that reminds you of every night you thought you wouldn't make it through. You glance down at your hands, calloused fingers, faint scars, and in silence you whisper, "Why am I still here? After all those times I nearly died." And just as the thought leaves your lips, a gentle voice rises, not from this room, but from somewhere deeper where your soul trembles in recognition. Chosen in heaven was never silent. Heaven was waiting for this very moment to reveal the truth about you. The atmosphere shifts. It's no longer quiet, it's holy. Something sacred fills the air, as if an angel has stepped into the room beside you, not seen, but felt a presence so real, it makes your heart tremble. You feel warmth travel up your spine. Your heartbeat quickens, not in fear, but in awe. A mixture of gratitude and wonder floods your chest, the feeling of being seen, known, remembered by God. The mark on your left hand. It was never an accident, the voice continues. Only 1 in a million carry this sign, and you are one of them. You lift your hand slowly, the light glinting softly across your skin as if invisible letters are being etched before your eyes. Even now, as you hear these words, the voice whispers, "My angel has been sent to stand beside you." The room grows still. Time seems to pause between breaths. Every worry, every wound, every dark memory fades away, and all that remains is peace. Then the voice softens like a promise wrapped in light. Tonight, you will understand why you are still alive, why death passed over you 3 times, and why that mark rests upon your left hand. The words fade, but their echo lingers. The light in your room seems a little brighter, and deep within you know your soul has just awakened. Part 1. The 3 times death passed you by. There are memories you thought you had forgotten, but your soul still remembers each detail, replaying like a slow, faded film whenever night falls. The first time, that dark road, the rain pouring down like the sky was tearing open. Headlights blurred across the wet asphalt, and in a single split second, a car came speeding straight towards you. Brakes screamed, metal clashed, time stood still. The space between life and death was thinner than a breath. You closed your eyes, believing it was the end, but the car stopped just inches away. No wounds, no blood, only trembling knees and a heart pounding out of rhythm. You called it luck, but heaven called it an interception. An angel placed a hand on the driver's shoulder and whispered, "Not this one. Not tonight." The second time. It was in that sterile hospital room, the smell of disinfectant, the slow beep of a monitor. The doctor shook his head, eyes heavy with sorrow. And you closed your eyes, too tired to fight. Family members whispered prayers as you felt yourself slipping further away. But then something strange happened. A deep breath filled your lungs. Your heart jolted back to life, and the tears on your face were no longer fear, but the return of life itself. The next day, the doctor called it a miracle, but heaven said something else. "I have covered you with my hand. It is not yet time." Your story is not over. The third time. It wasn't an accident or an illness. It was the night when despair itself came knocking. You sat on the floor, tears soaking your hands, and a thought brushed across your mind. If I disappeared tonight, would anyone even notice? That moment the darkness felt endless, ready to swallow every ounce of hope you had left. But in the silence you heard a whisper, so small yet so near. I'm still here. A strange warmth filled your heart, as if someone was holding you, not with arms but with mercy itself. And instead of giving up, you began to weep, not from fear but from being saved. 3 times. 3 times death came knocking, and 3 times heaven whispered to destiny, not this one. Their story is not finished. You did not survive by accident. It wasn't luck. It was design written long before you were born. Every brush with death was not punishment, but proof that God intervened in your life. You were not punished. You were preserved. Think about that chosen one. If fate were random, you wouldn't be here to hear these words. But you're still breathing, still listening, still feeling the pulse of life in your chest, because heaven has said it's not over yet. Every scar on your body, every pain you've endured, they are not marks of weakness, but seals of protection. And right now, as you remember those 3 moments when death nearly touched you, let the tears fall, not from fear, but from recognition. You were never alone. You were chosen to keep living for a purpose far greater than you've ever known. Part 2, the secret of the left hand. Take a deep breath. Chosen one, now look closely at your left hand. Don't rush, don't doubt, just observe. Those lines, those scars, even the tiny callus you've never noticed, none of them are random. They are letters written in light, engraved by the hand of heaven. Look closely at your left hand. That line, that scar, that ache, it's heaven's handwriting. The light in your room softens, turning gold, warm like candlelight on a sacred night. As you lift your hand, the faint ridges shimmer, reflecting into 1,000 tiny glimmers, as if a small star were resting in your palm. From the moment you were born, that left hand has carried a story, a secret only your soul could read. When you place it over your heart, you can feel it, a rhythm in sync, a gentle current of warmth, as though someone is responding to your heartbeat with their presence. I have engraved your name on the palms of my hands. Isaiah 49:16. It's no coincidence that God chose the palm as the place to speak of his love and remembrance. The hand is where we receive, and where we give, where we hold, lift, pray, and touch the world. And among all these gestures, the left hand holds a holier meaning than you may have realized. In Scripture, the left hand once symbolized weakness, but with God, the weakest place becomes the stage for his greatest strength. That's why the mark isn't on the right hand, the hand of action, but on the left, the hand of receiving, the hand of faith. When you pray, your left hand isn't the one that works, it's the one that receives grace. Every time you open that hand, heaven pours invisible light into it, seeping through your skin, flowing through your veins, reminding you you are not alone. I am holding your hand. Have you ever noticed? When you're afraid or trembling, it's your left hand that rises to your chest for comfort. It's that hand that knows how to console you without words, because within it lives the memory of your soul, the memory that you belong to heaven. Maybe that hand has been wounded before, a cut, a burn, a fall, and every time you look at it, it still stings. But today, heaven wants you to know that pain was never a curse, it was a crown. Your left hand is not cursed by pain, it is crowned by purpose. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself standing in a sacred space surrounded by soft golden light. Then a hand strong yet gentle reaches out to touch yours. It's the hand of the Creator, the same hand that shaped light, that painted the stars, and now rests upon the scar of your palm. A quiet pulse of energy passes through you, not fear, but recognition. You realize the place that once hurt has become a place that can now heal. The place that once trembled can now lift others. The place that once bore a scar now carries power. When you open your left hand, notice how its lines are unlike anyone else's. They are not parallel, not perfect, but it's within that imperfection that God writes your story. I don't need a golden tablet. I need your palm, the place where I can engrave your name with eternal love. Every time you hold someone to comfort them, every time you reach out to help, every time you pray for the hurting, that same hand continues heaven's mission. Remember how it used to shake in fear. Remember asking, why does my left hand always ache? Why does it feel weak? Perhaps it tingled when you were grieving or throbbed when you missed someone who left. But now you understand, don't you? Every ache was a signal, not a curse. It was your soul's way of saying heaven is still working in you. Each time your heart broke, your left hand reacted as if whispering, I'm touching you, I'm repairing you. Chosen one. Some things cannot be explained by science because they belong to the language of the soul. And that language is not written in words, it's carved in marks. The mark on your left hand is heaven's reminder that you were chosen to receive, not just to endure. When you ask, God places blessing in that hand. When you forgive, He pours peace into your palm. And when you stretch it outward, His grace flows through you to others. Then that divine voice speaks again, soft yet steady, touching the heart like a wave of light. I chose your left hand because it was the place you were once weakest. I will turn weakness into a doorway for strength. I want the world to see the place most wounded will become the place most powerful. Your hand trembles, but not from fear. It trembles from grace. A tear slips down and a faint smile rises as you realize heaven once wrote upon your flesh and now writes again in light. Raise your left hand once more. Look closely at the faint marks you once despised and whisper, I understand now, Lord. This is not a curse. This is a crown. As those words leave your lips, the air around you seems to change color. A golden warmth brushes your skin, a kiss from heaven. And in that sacred moment you feel what millions search for their whole lives, the feeling of belonging. That left hand, once weak, once trembling, once in pain, now carries strength, faith, and purpose. Never dismiss it again. Never hide its scars. Look at it with gratitude, for it's proof that heaven has touched you. Your left hand is not cursed by pain, it is crowned by purpose. Keep that hand close to your heart, for every time it beats, in rhythm with your chest, heaven smiles and whispers, this one is mine, ngoi nai, thuok veta. Part 3, the price of the mark. The light in the room begins to dim. A small candle flickers in the breeze, its shadow trembling across the wall, just like your heart glowing yet swaying between the light and the dark. Because when a soul awakens, its light not only draws angels, it also catches the attention of darkness. Chosen one. The voice speaks slow and steady, deep as thunder wrapped in calm. Every blessing carries a burden. The moment you were sealed, darkness took notice. From the moment you carried that mark, life stopped being easy. People who once felt close grew distant. Those you trusted suddenly turned away, not because you changed, but because the light within you revealed their own shadows. You asked, why did they leave when I needed them most? Why did promises break when I did nothing wrong? The answer is simple, yet it pierces the heart. They didn't abandon you. Heaven separated you. You were not rejected. You were redirected. Loneliness came quietly, not through chaos, but through endless silent evenings, dinners eaten alone, unread messages, and the echo of prayers that seemed unanswered. You began to believe you'd been forgotten, but the truth is, you were being protected. In the unseen realm, a battle rages, spiritual warfare. Each time you pray, Angels war for your peace. Each time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, a small victory is recorded in heaven. But you don't see that. You only see the pain, the silence, the tears, and you whisper, "Why, Lord?" And heaven answers softly, gently, "Because I am protecting you in ways you don't yet understand." Remember this, chosen one. Every soul that bears the mark must walk through the desert of solitude. The desert isn't punishment, it's purification. It's where you discover who truly belongs in your life and who was only passing through. It's where you learn to hear God's voice instead of the noise of the world, where you stop chasing approval and start seeking presence. There were nights you wept without reason. Those tears were not wasted. They were the language of your soul, the way your heart speaks to heaven. You thought you were weak, but heaven smiled and said, "You're not made of paper, you're made of eternal substance. Those made of paper dissolve in their own tears, but you are made of eternity. Pain doesn't destroy you, it refines you." Think back to every betrayal, when someone you trusted walked away, when love turned to ashes, when co-workers trampled your name and all you could do was stand in silence. You didn't understand why those you loved could wound you so deeply, but now you see it wasn't an ending. It was a redirection. Heaven closed the doors that would have destroyed your soul to open the ones that lead to destiny. Remember, chosen one, how many times you thought you'd lost everything, yet from the ruins something new began to grow. You thought you were abandoned, but in truth God was repositioning you for purpose. No betrayal escapes heaven's awareness. No tear falls unnoticed. Every wound, every fall, every departure was part of the map leading you to spiritual maturity. Every wound was heaven's way of protecting your destiny. That's not just comfort, it's truth. If they hadn't hurt you, you would never have learned how to return to yourself. If they hadn't left, you would never have known who was truly meant to stay. The price of the mark is not glory, it's solitude among those who cannot understand you. They see your light and call it arrogance. They hear your voice and call it confusion. But you know the truth, that the voice you hear in the quiet hours is not illusion, but an angel whispering, "Keep walking. Don't look back. Something greater awaits." And one day you realize that the price, loneliness, pain, isolation, was proof that your light was strong enough to make darkness tremble. You begin to understand when everything around you falls apart. It's not destruction, it's reconstruction. Heaven is rebuilding your life for something better. What was taken was not punishment, it was God's way of saying, "You don't need that to become who I've chosen you to be." The price of the mark is not loss, it's transformation. You are no longer who you were, no longer the fearful one, the dependent one, the one desperate for the world's approval. Now you are a soul who knows its worth, who understands that even in isolation, an unseen hand still holds you. The night deepens. You sit quietly listening to the wind through the window. But this time you are not afraid, because you know the wind carries the breath of heaven, and within its whisper is a message meant only for you, chosen one. Every wound you carry is a mark of divine protection. Do not despise them. Thank them, for they are proof you are still being held. The final tear falls, but this time not from pain, from surrender. You stop fighting your destiny. You stop asking why. And in the stillness, you simply say, "I understand now, Lord." Every wound had a reason, every loss had meaning, and every moment of loneliness brought me back to you. The candle goes out, but within you, a new light ignites the light of acceptance. Not everyone will see the mark, and that is what makes it sacred. The price of the mark is loneliness, but its reward is closeness to heaven. Part 4, when scars turn into light. Dawn is breaking. Soft rays of morning light slip through the window, filtering gently through the curtains. And in that golden stillness, your room fills with something new. Not fear, not darkness, but peace. After all those nights of wandering your soul, finally hears the whisper of heaven, wake up, chosen one. The night has served its purpose. Now it's time to rise. You open your eyes slowly. Warm light touches your skin, and in that quiet moment, you see the scars on your left hand shimmer as if gilded with gold. They're no longer wounds. They're signs of life. You used to flinch at the sight of them because they reminded you of pain, loss, and near collapse. But today, you see them differently. You realize those scars are living proof that heaven touched you. Your scars aren't evidence of pain, they're proof of divine intervention. The storyteller's voice returns steady, soft, tender. Look again, chosen one. Every scar is a doorway. Behind each pain, my hand was holding you. And as you look back over your life, every loss, every collapse begins to connect like pieces of a perfect mosaic. What once broke you now stands as proof of protection. Nothing was wasted. No wound existed just to hurt. Every scar, every tear, every failure was a note in the symphony of grace. The sunlight catches your hand. You raise your left hand toward it, and the faint marks reflect like threads of silver light. Then you hear a voice not from outside, but from deep within your heart. My grace is sufficient for you. 2 Corinthians 12:9. It's not loud. It hums softly, like a mother's lullaby, like warmth flowing through trembling veins. You close your eyes. Images flood. In the nights you wept in silence, the pain you thought would never end, the nights you whispered, Lord, I'm so tired. But now looking back, you see, you made it through. Not because you were strong, but because grace held you. My grace is sufficient for you. Just those few words were enough to lift you when you were falling apart. The light grows stronger, warmer, wrapping around you like a soft cloak. Everything feels reborn, your breath, your thoughts, your heart. The voice continues light as the morning breeze. The hand that once trembled now carries the power to heal. The same hand that once shook in fear, that clenched tight in pain, that wiped away lonely tears now carries healing. Not only for you, but for everyone you touch. You begin to understand healing isn't the absence of pain. It's the transformation of pain into light that guides others home. When you speak comfort to someone who's crying, when you hold the hand of the hopeless, when you pray for someone who's lost faith, your hand transmits the same light heaven once placed in it. Your scars are no longer reminders of suffering. They're proof that you survived. You've walked through hell, and now you carry a piece of heaven within you. Morning light floods the room. Each breath feels lighter, each heartbeat filled with gratitude. You realize the miracle was never the disappearance of pain. The miracle was your ability to look at the pain and say, thank you, because through you I found grace. Your scars aren't ugly, they're sacred. They don't make you less beautiful, they make you holy. And then the voice whispers again. Chosen one, open your left hand once more. Feel your heartbeat flowing through it. That current is grace. It's heaven's confirmation that you've been restored. You obey, and as you open your hand, the light bursts forth. Not physical light, but light from within. A gentle radiance, soft, yet powerful enough to tell you that every pain that once broke you has turned into healing power. Now you finally understand why God marked you, not to make you different, but to make you a witness of hope. Each time you tell your story, each time you share your scars, that light spreads farther, reaching hearts still lost in darkness. And heaven smiles because you've fulfilled a piece of your purpose. You've turned scars into light. You whisper, voice trembling, yet sure, I don't regret these scars. They are proof that you never left me. Light falls across your face, and in that moment your once broken soul glows. Like the sunrise, no fear, no shame, only the deep knowing my scars are my crown. And as you step outside carrying the light of dawn in your eyes, people look at you not because you're perfect, but because something sacred shines from within. It's not the glow of appearance, it's the reflection of scars God has touched and transformed. The hand that once trembled now carries the power to heal. You smile. The hand that once hurt is now at peace. The hand that once shook now lifts others. And the heart that once broke now loves again with a love born straight from heaven. Part 5. Awakening, activating the sacred mark. Light bursts forth, not the gentle light of dawn, but the light of awakening, bright alive, filling every corner of the room. It feels as if the heavens open and a wave of invisible energy pours down and covers you. Everything around you grows still. All you hear is the steady, strong drum of your heart, each beat knocking out an unwritten sentence, "I'm still here." The narrator's voice rises, not hushed now, but carrying the certainty of a decree. That fire in your chest, that's not emotion, that's activation. This flame is not a passing feeling. It is activation the moment your soul receives heaven's start command. A command not spoken in words, but written in light, carved into your heart before you were born. The voice continues flowing like water over a dry desert. Chosen one, place your left hand over your chest. Feel the warmth, feel the rhythm, heaven is knocking there. You obey, your left hand meets your chest. In that instant, a current moves through your body from hand to heart to every cell. Your heart beats harder, not from fear, but because your soul is waking up. Each beat carries a message: you have been chosen. You gently close your eyes and the voice whispers, "Now say it with me out loud. I am marked." You repeat it, your voice unsteady at first, then firming, "I am marked." With every repetition, your chest grows warmer, as if a sacred flame is rising from within. Tears fall, not from pain, but because your soul is being reborn. The room grows brighter and brighter. It isn't outer light, it's light coming from you. The voice continues, clear, commanding, yet tender. That heat you feel, it's heaven confirming your calling. You're not being overwhelmed, you're being awakened. You open your eyes and everything looks different. Colors seem clearer, the air warmer, and in the mirror you see light reflected in your eyes. It isn't an illusion, it's the evidence of activation. The voice guides you through a holy ritual, slow and sure. Every chosen one passes through this moment, the moment when pain becomes power and scars become heaven's signatures. Each word runs through your heart like a gentle surge. Every scar, every memory that once crushed you now feels weightless, like small rings of light rippling around you. Your left hand remains over your chest, and from deep within you hear the whisper, "Your mark is your mission." Let that word sink into your soul, chosen one. The mark is not only a sign you survived, it is a summons to step out of the dark to become light for the souls still lost. You were not chosen to be perfect, you were chosen to be powerful. You were marked not to be perfect, but to be powerful. The voice continues, echoing like a prayer. You once trembled in the storm, but today, these same hands will rest on another's shoulders and help them stand. You once cried in loneliness, but today those tears will become the water that washes fear from someone else. Your left hand grows warm, and when you open your eyes, you know you're not the same. You are not merely a survivor. You are a carrier of fire. Light swells around you like a sea of radiant gold. And in that moment, you understand everything that ever happened in your life led here. Every time you fell, every time you thought it was the end, every wound, every tear, every desperate prayer, they were all activation codes. And now the code has opened. You place your hand on your chest once more and say softly, "I am marked. My scars are holy. My pain has become power." A great wave of light moves through you, then dissolves gentle as breath. No more heaviness, no more gloom, only deep peace and an unshakable certainty. You smile, a final tear falling, and a sentence rises within you, not from outside, but from the one who set his mark on you before the foundation of the world. This one belongs to me. Their story has just begun. Now you are awake. Your left hand is no longer just flesh and skin, it is the sign of a covenant. Every time you touch someone with love, heaven touches them through you. From this moment on, every word you speak, every act you take will carry heaven's frequency. The narrator closes with a voice slow and warm, a priestly blessing. Chosen one, walk in the light. Let the fire within you illuminate the dark places. For now, you are not only the rescued, you are the one who is sent. You draw a deep breath, your left hand still over your heart. Your pulse is steady. The light is still around you, and your soul whispers like a prayer, I am marked. My mark is my mission. I have been chosen. Night falls once more. The light in the room softens, leaving a pale gold shimmer on your hand. The candle burns low, a thin ribbon of smoke rising like a prayer. The narrator returns slow, deep, and full of love, like a father whispering to a beloved child. Father, let this mark be a seal of protection, of calling, of peace. Silence lingers. You close your eyes, and in that stillness, you feel an unseen embrace wrap around you. Not fear, perfect peace. As if a gentle hand rests on your shoulder, light yet enough to make your heart tremble, because you know heaven is here. The voice rises again like wind moving through a sanctuary at night. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. Each word drops like honey into your heart, melting every doubt, every shame, every accusing voice that ever haunted you. You are not forgotten, because your name is still engraved on his palms. You are chosen, because among millions of souls, he still calls yours. You exhale, relieved, and for the first time in a long time, you feel truly seen, truly known, truly loved. The voice settles low, a final confirmation spoken straight to your soul. Your scars are heaven's signatures, proof that you survived for a reason. Every pain you carried, every scar you mistook for failure has been signed by heaven in light. You did not survive by accident, you survived because your mission is not finished. Now you understand. No tear was wasted, no prayer was ignored. Each was a perfect piece of God's design. You open your left hand, look at the lines and the small scars, and smile softly. Because now you know you are not branded by pain, you are sealed by purpose. The voice falls to a hush, soft as a midnight hymn. Chosen one, as you step out of this moment, do not let the light within you go dim. Let it guide the wandering for you. We're not only chosen to live, you were chosen to love, to forgive, and to lead. The candle fades. Outside, the sky is jeweled with starlight, like 1,000 angelic eyes smiling down. You hear the voice one last time, a gentle farewell. If this message spoke to your soul, type Amen in the comments. Share this with another chosen one today. And remember, your mark is not your pain, it's your purpose. You nod, tears falling as your heart feels freshly washed. In that moment, you know you belong to somewhere higher, warmer, truer. Your left hand rests upon your chest, and you whisper a promise to heaven. I will not forget this mark. I will live to honor your name. Then you close your eyes, letting peace flow through your body, letting your breath settle like a quiet stream. And tonight, as heaven looks down, he smiles, for a soul has awakened. You are not forgotten. You are chosen, and your mark is your mission.